हरि ओम नमः सर्वेभ्यः from Sai Samskrita Pathashala. We welcome you all for this Bhagavad Gita English session. Navya, please chant Dhyana Shloka.
अथ ध्यानम् पार्थाय प्रतिबोधिताम् भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथिताम् पुराणमुनिना मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणी भगवती अष्टादशाध्यायिनी अम्ब त्वामनुसन्दधामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी नमोऽस्तु ते व्यासविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्र येन त्वया भारततैरपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः प्रपन्नपारिजाताय स्तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। सर्वोपनिषदो गावो दोग्धा गोपालनन्दनः पार्थो वत्स सुधीर्भोक्ता दुग्धं गीतामृतं महत् वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् भीष्मद्रोणतटा जयद्रथजला गान्धारनीलोत्पला शल्यग्राहवती कृपेण वहनी कर्णेन वेलाकुला अश्वत्थामविकर्णघोरमकरा दुर्योधनावर्तिनी सोत्तीर्णा खलु पाण्डवैरणनदी कैवर्तककेशवः पाराशर्यवचः सरोजममलं गीतार्थगन्धोत्कटम् नानाख्यानककेसरं हरिकथा सम्बोधनामोदितम् लोके सज्जनषट्पदैरहरः पेपीयमानं मुदा भूयाद्भारतपङ्कजं कलिमल प्रध्वंसि न श्रेयसे मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः स्तुन्वन्ति दिव्यैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ध्यानावस्थिततद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यस्यान्तं न विदुः सुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः देवाय तस्मै नमः।
बहु 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 धन्यवाद नव्या. ओम श्री कृष्ण परमात्मने नमः. अथ प्रथमोऽध्यायः अर्जुनविषादयोगः। धृतराष्ट्रोवाच धर्मक्षेत्रे कुरुक्षेत्रे समवेतायुयुत्सवः मामकाः पाण्डवाश्चैव किमकुर्वत सञ्जय। Manjari Bhagini, कृपया स्वीकरोतु.
धन्यवाद भगिनी. Bhagini, will you read 21st shloka also?
Prabhakant Mahoday is there.
Okay.
अस्तु
Mahodaya,
महोदय।
read.
ॐ श्रीकृष्णपरमात्मने नमः। बाह्यस्पर्शेष्वसक्तात्मा विन्दत्यात्मनि यत्सुखं स ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखमक्षयमश्नुते।
Dhanyavad Mahodaya. Welcome all to English session of Bhagavad Gita. So all of you are aware that we are doing 5th chapter and we have done 20 shlokas in the last class. So last class we have seen that na praharshet priyam prapya na udvijet prapya chapriyam sthira buddhi rasam moodaha brahmavid brahmani sthitaha. That is one whose mind is sthira and one who doesn't have any moha and one who is seated in brahmavid brahmani sthitaha. So that person, so he is unaffected by the pleasures of love for pleasant and or hatred for unpleasant. Na praharshet priyam prap, he will not rejoice on getting the lovable things. Na udvijet cha prapya apriyam, and also he'll not sink, he'll not feel depressed when he gets unpleasant things. So that state he has attained, that level he has attained, and that person is one who has sthira buddhi, one who has away from moha or delusion, and one who is seated in brahma. So such a person or such a yogi, he has attained that state that he is unaffected by any pleasant or unpleasant news that he gets. So next shloka, we'll move on today's shloka. So बाह्यस्पर्शेषु बाह्यस्पर्शेषु असक्तात्मा विन्दति आत्मनि यत् सुखम् सः ब्रह्मयोगयुक्तात्मा सुखम् अक्षयम् अश्नुते. बाह्यस्पर्शेषु असक्तात्मा. Bahyasparsha means what? The external. Sparsha means we should take here as all the materialistic pleasures, rupa, rasa, gandha, sparsha, shabda, all those five, by our five jnanendriyas are there, no? So which are received by these five jnanendriyas, rupa, rasa, gandha, sparsha. So sparshadi means all these five. So one who is not interested in these shabdadi vishayas or sparshadi vishayas, one who is unattached to these external influences, and then yat sukham saha atmani vindati. So he gets the happiness within himself. He gets the happiness within himself, and then saha brahma yoga yuktatma, that yogi, that brahma yogi, sukham akshayam ashnute, he gets happiness that is akshaya. Akshaya na kshaya iti akshaya, that is one which will never diminish or never get destroyed, or undecaying also we can call it as. So he gets undecaying happiness, or he gets happiness which will never get over, never fade, never get destroyed, like that. So atmani vindati sukham. So where is the sukha for him? The yogi sukha is within himself. The yogi will never chase the materialistic objects for his happiness, and the happiness that is dependent on the external objects, so that can never become our happiness because it is under the control of others. So when we are dependent on the external objects or external persons or external situations for our happiness, then that cannot become our own happiness, even if it is our happiness for today. But definitely, because we are dependent on others, we are dependent on the entire outside situations. So anytime it can fade away. So it is not ours at all. It is anyashaya. It is under the control of others. So, and then what happens is, if we are dependent for our happiness for the materialistic things, so what happens is we become so addicted to that. Once if a person experiences that, enjoys that, then he feels like having it again and again. And a person is ready to take any kind of trouble, or any ready to spend his time or money or whatever to get that outside things, and he becomes slave of those external pleasures, and whatever cost it demands, he is ready to spend that. But uh, on the other hand, yogi, what he does, he whatever his indriyas are trying to establish the contact with the outside external objects, he controls that. And then whatever, so when the mind goes outside, uh, when the mind is attracted for the outside external objects, so a lot of energy is spent through the indriyas. And yogi, he gathers all that manasika shakti or willpower, and then makes it inward and directs that energy towards Bhagavan. Because definitely we need energy. We spend so much of energy when we chase the external objects. The same energy, if it is directed in the opposite direction, that is external, the materialistic things are outside, so that direction is outwards. If that is directed inwards, and then there he establishes a contact with Bhagavan, he can see Bhagavan, and with this relation with Bhagavan, he gets enormous happiness. So when he does that, when he can control all the senses, and when he can direct all that within himself, then he can find Bhagavan in him, the spring of Bhagavan, the happiness he can see. And for this, there is no need to get any materialistic things. And such a happiness, when he establishes some relation with Bhagavan, such a happiness, he never feels bored. And he feels like he should still have more, he should have more, like that. But the materialistic happiness or indriya happiness is not like that. How much ever lovable a thing may be, after some time we feel bored. And for example, suppose there is a favorite dish which I like the most, but how much I can eat, after some time, even if it is kept in front of me, I feel like running away from it. If someone forces me to eat that, then I may literally run away from that, because after some time I feel that I cannot eat it. And similarly, any good music, how long I can listen to that? After some time, I'll switch off that music system, because I feel that it's enough. So, and any beautiful scenery also, how long I can see that? It may be, no doubt, it is very beautiful, but I cannot keep seeing that. I cannot do that. But all these indriya happinesses, the materialistic experiences, so once in the beginning we have so much of desire to have it, but once we have it, we reach the peak, and then we feel like we have to run away from it. And after few days again we run behind that, there is no doubt. But sometime when we finish that, when we eat full, then we may sometimes repent, why I ate. Any materialistic happiness, any sensory pleasures, when we have that, after some time we may feel that it was too much, I shouldn't have done that. But the experience of Bhagwan is not like that. How much ever you enjoy, there is not even a second that you feel it's enough, or you feel it's old, or you feel it's bored. It is not like that. It never becomes old, and there is no side effect at all for that. So uh, the experience with God is, it gives eternal happiness. But experience the enjoyment that a person has with the uh, indriyas, the sensory organs, that there is beginning and end for that. And in the beginning we feel that we should have it, and the time comes when we feel like moving away from it. We feel that there are so many side effects also. Sometimes we repent also for that, and sometimes we feel bored also, and sometimes we feel like moving, running away from it. But it is not like that with the Bhagavan, the experience of Bhagavan. And what we get, the happiness when we see that Bhagavan within ourselves, that is Akshayam. So there is no Kshaya for that. For a second also, for a moment also, we never feel that we should run away from this. So once we experience that, so that is Akshayam. That happiness we cannot compare with any of the Indriya Sukhas. So that's what Krishna is telling here. Mahodaya, agre patatu.
अस्तु महोदय ये हि संस्पर्शजा भोगाः दुःखयोनय एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः
धन्यवाद महोदय. ये हि संस्पर्शजाः भोगाः दुःखयोनयः एव ते आद्यन्तवन्तः कौन्तेय न तेषु रमते बुधः. ये संस्पर्शजाः भोगाः ते हि दुःखयोनयः एव आद्यन्तवन्तः हे कौन्तेय तेषु बुधः न रमते इति कृष्णः वदति. So A, which sukhas or the bhogaha, A means which, bhogaha, the enjoyments, that is all the comforts enjoyed through the samsparshajaha, that is the contact of senses and the sense objects, and they are causes of misery, dukkha yonaya evate, he says. And such happiness, it has always adyantavantaha, it has got beginning and as well as end. And hence buddhaha, the wise people, teshu na ramate, they are never interested in them. That is the translation of this shloka. So we'll see that what is this samsparshajaha. Samsparshajaha means we have seen matra sparshastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkadaha. In Sankhya Yoga we have seen agama paino nityaha tam titikshasva bharata, says Krishna. So matra sparshastu kaunteya or samsparshajaha bhogaha, all are same. That is, we have jnanendriyas, and outside we have the objects. And when the contact is established, when the communication is established between our sense organs and the outside objects, then we'll have experience, whether it is happiness or the sorrow or some bad experience, whatever. So the experience or the experience is established only when there is contact between the sense organs and the outside objects. So what Krishna is telling is the bhogaha, the happiness is that we get by the establishment of communication between the sense organs and the outside things. They are all dukkhayonayaha. They are cause of misery. They are cause of sorrow, and they have adi and anta. They have beginning and they have end also. So here Arjuna, therefore Buddha, the wise people, they are not interested in these things, he says. So all the materialistic objects are outside, and the organs are inside within us. So if we have to have this materialistic happiness, so there should be some contact or communication established between our eyes and then the outside objects. Only then we'll have that experience called as happiness. So if there is a beautiful thing, then I should see that, our eyes should watch that, and then it should report that it is beautiful. Then we'll enjoy that. If some music is there, there should be a music, then there should be contact established between our ear and that music. We should tune to that, and then we'll have that experience. In the same way, sparsha. So if we touch something and we feel happy, so some object is there outside and we have hands and we touch that, and then we may feel that it is hot or it is cool or it is rough, it is thorn, it is flower or whatever. So for that also there should be some outside object, and there should be, we have some indriyas to experience that. So and to taste something, there should be some delicious thing outside, and we have tongue and taste buds are there. So when the contact is established between the delicious dish and the tongue, then we'll have the experience of happiness. Oh, this is very tasty. So but we think that because of all these outside objects we are able to enjoy this world. But Krishna says that te sarve dukkha yonayaha, they are all cause of dukkha, they are all root cause of misery. It is because once we enjoy that, once we enjoy these materialistic things, a person feels like to have those things again and again. That becomes a habit. And then Krishna says that if one is trapped in this habit, then there is no other hell other than that. It's because, suppose, for example, a person who is addicted to drugs, so some afim or something. So then what happens? If he doesn't take that on a particular time, then he starts struggling. So he cannot survive without having that because he is addicted to that. So he starts struggling and he suffers, and he should have that. So earlier he wanted to have some happiness, so he started taking, but now he's struggling to come out of that. He's suffering a lot out of it, but then also he's trapped in that. So he gets severe pain if he doesn't take that. And uh, and for a person, if he has any habit, then what happens? He is able to do anything. He goes to any extent to get that thing, to get some nasha. I don't know what you call in English for that. I'm not getting that word. So to get a pinch of that, I have seen people going for 1 mile. They'll go for walk and then they have to get it. And then for a cup of coffee, people stand in a long queue because they must have a coffee at that particular time. And of course, these are all the normal things. But one who is alcoholic, so we have seen so many people. So they go to the extent that some people I have seen, those who have sold their wives mangalya also, gold chain also, they are ready to sell that, but they should have a dose or the thing when it gets darker night or some particular time, they want it. And they abandon their family, their wife, their children, because they have become slaves of that habit. And in the same way, gambling also. So all these things, what happens? A person sells himself for this and he becomes the slaves. And there is no sign of coming out of it because he has become completely addicted to that. So that's why this all indriya sukhas are like that only. Initially, we feel that they are good, but once we become addicted to that, and then even if we want to come out of it, we cannot. And how they do the khedda of the elephants, I think you people may be knowing that. So they will dig a deep ditch, and then they'll put some mat on the surface and on the upper surface, and on that they put some soil, grow some small herbs on that, and then elephant comes there to eat, and then it just goes deep into that ditch whatever they have dug there, and then it's trapped there. And then what a man does is, again with the help of one more tamed elephant, first they leave that elephant which is trapped and in the ground. So they won't give food for that 3 days, 3 days or few days. And out of starvation it becomes the slave. And then one more tamed elephant comes there and it tames the other elephant also, and all these elephants become lifelong slaves of human beings. So it is same for our indriyas. So we become the slaves of indriyas. So for small attractions we just start, and then it becomes habit, and we become lifelong slaves. And it says that adyantavantaha, and all these things, all these indriya happiness, there is a beginning and there is an end. So initially we may not be, a person may not be having that habit, but because of attraction he just, because of karma, because of desire, he just starts doing that something which he shouldn't do, and then he becomes addicted. So he'll never uh, care whether it is nyaya or anyaya, whether it is right or wrong. He never cares because he is addicted to that. And then, like how it starts, and then he enjoys that, he reaches the saturated point, and then he thinks that, oh, it is so boring, I have done a mistake. Oh, he starts repenting. So that is antya. He cannot enjoy it for more time. And then what happens? He feels very sad. He feels that he's trapped into that. And after some days, again he goes behind that. And that is called as addiction. That's what happens in, if I can take some small example, or a very not a big like drugs or something. So for this fast food, what a person does, the street food, so it is so attractive that person goes and eats, and then his stomach is upset and he repents, oh, I shouldn't have done that, I should avoid street food. First he enjoys and then he suffers, but again he goes, again he eats, and again that continues because he is addicted to that taste. So in the same way, all these worldly attractions are like that. Even though they are harmful, we people are going behind all those things. But Jnani, he knows. So he will not, he's so totally not impressed by such things, because he knows that where these things will take us. He can guess those things. So he knows that all these Indriya Sukhas are like the worms attached to a hook to catch the fish. What they do? So they take a hook and then they just keep some worms which the fish likes and dip that into the water. The fishes come and they're trapped in that hook. So the Jnani knows that all these materialistic attractions are like that only. They are temporary. So he always stays away from that. And what he does, not only he stays away from that, what he does, he opens a spring which is within himself, and he can see the fountain of happiness in that. And that is that happiness is something called as Bhagavan. So he can see Bhagavan within himself, because he is able to gather all that mano shakti which we people are spending in the materialistic world. So he just directs that inwards, and he can see Bhagavan there. And he just, that spring of happiness that comes, he just consumes that. And all his samshayas, all his doubts are destroyed there, and all his diseases, bhavaroga they are called as, all those things are destroyed there. And now he becomes amrutatma. He is not martya now, he is amrutatma. That's what is said here. Nateshu ramate buddha. The wise people, the jnani people, they don't ramates, they don't enjoy in those things. They are not interested in those materialistic things, because they have seen Bhagavan in themselves and they have become Amrutatma. Mahodaya, agre patatu.
अस्तु महोदय शक्नोति हैव यः सोढुं प्राक्शरीरविमोक्षणात् कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं स युक्तः स सुखी नरः
Dhanyavada. Shaknoti plus iha plus eva yaha sodhum prak plus sharira vimokshanat kama krododbhavam vegam saha yuktaha saha sukhi naraha. So यः इह शरीर विमोक्षणात् प्राक् एव कामक्रोधोद्भवं वेगं सोढुं शक्नोति सः नरः युक्तः सः सुखी. So यः, one who, iha, in this human body only, sharira vimokshanat, prak, before this body dies or before this body gets destroyed, before that only, one who can sodhum, to bear, to tolerate, uh, one who can shaknoti, one who is capable of tolerating the speed of this kama krodha, one who can resist the speed of this kama krodha when he is alive in this body, and that purusha is called as yogi, and that purusha is called as a happy person. That is one who can bear the vega of this kama krodha, that is the impulse of this lust and anger before his death in this world, is said to be a yogi, and he enjoys the bliss. So we cannot conquer these kama krodhas after death. It's not possible. It is because we have to do it when we are very much present in this body. It is like, uh, if I have to catch the fishes, then there should be full water in the lake. If the lake is dried up, everything is dry there, everything is empty there, and what fishes will get there? There will be nothing. So, uh, if we have to resist this kama krodha, then it has to be done when we are in this body only. And also, he says that when all these indriyas are strong, that time only we have to control these things. And these vishaya vastus, the outside objects, they are always attracting the indriyas, and indriyas always they'll be rushing towards those outward attractions. And it is actually difficult to control these things, the indriyas, the outside objects, and the mind. So outside objects are always tempting, and indriya's natural instinct is to run behind those objects, but it is the mind which should control that indriyas. If mind also goes with indriyas, then the person totally destroys himself. And the natural instinct of the indriyas is go behind the materialistic world, and it is always very easy, like when a child is playing the slide in the park, so it is always easy to slide downwards, it is difficult to climb upwards, always it is like that. And uh, in the same way, it is easy to allow the mind behind the indriyas. Wherever the indriyas want to go, if the mind also is ready to leave that, then it is very easy. We need not have to do anything for that, because it's natural is like that only. There is outside, there are some tempting things, and the indriyas go behind that, and mind also just allow the indriyas to go behind that. Then we don't need much energy, or it's not at all difficult. But it is when we have to withdraw the indriyas from those things, it is little difficult. It is like, uh, there is a speed with which the indriyas are running behind the external objects. So but if we have to withdraw that, we need double speed, we need double energy, because only then we can direct our mind towards God. So the mind is in between, and mind has to decide, mind has to have control over the indriyas. So the mind should have the double energy, uh, of the energy which is spent when the indriyas go behind the materialistic objects. And if we have to direct that towards God, we need double energy for that. For an aeroplane, if it has to fly to the sky, then what it should do, it should go against the gravitational force. So to beat that gravitational force, it has to generate so much of energy within itself by burning some fuel. It has to generate energy, it has to generate the energy which is more than the gravitational force, only then it can fly to the sky. In the same way, we have to generate more energy to direct our mind towards God, because mind and indriyas are running behind the outside objects. And if we have to direct that inwards, and then we need to have double energy, or in multiple folds we may need. So only then it is possible to direct our mind towards God. So, uh, prak sharira vimokshanat. So that means before we leave this body. That means it's not just before. Just before means already it is old age. So we will resist all the kama krodha in the old age, means there is no point for that. Already the organs have become so weak. Already the indriyas have become so weak. So at that time, if I say that I'll conquer, there is no meaning for that. It's meaningless. And it is like, suppose there is a water tank, and I'll close the tap when all the water has gone out. There is no point. So I have to close the tap only when the tank is filled with water. Only then I can collect water and I can use it for different purposes. There is no point in closing the tap when all the water has gone out. It in the same way, there is no point when all the energy is gone out of the body, and then I say that I can control the indriyas, or I can conquer the indriyas. There is no point for that. So when the indriyas are strong, so that time only one should try to conquer those things. So if a person is able to do so when he is alive and when he is young, and then in the next life also he is born as yogi. So when the yogi, what he does is he controls all his organs when they are strong, when he is young. And uh, and because he is able to do that, because he is able to withdraw his senses, and he is able to direct that towards the Bhagavan who is inside, so he is always very happy. Sa naraha sukhi, yuktaha sa sukhi naraha, because he is able to consume that fountain of God, no, that spring of God within himself. So he is able to consume, so he is able to enjoy, so he is always happy. Mahodaya, agre patatu.
अस्तु महोदय। योऽन्तः सुकोऽन्तरारामः तथान्तर्ज्योतिरेव यः स योगी ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ब्रह्मभूतोऽधिगच्छति।
So yaha anthas sukhaha antararamaha tata antarjyotihi eva yaha saha yogi brahma nirvanam brahma bhutodhi gacchati, brahma bhutaha adhigacchati. Yaha, one who is antas sukhi, one who is antara rama, one who is antarjyoti, that yogi, he becomes Brahma Bhuta, and he gets nirvana, he gets liberation, he merges with Brahma, says. So we'll see what are these three terms: Antasukhi, Antararama, Antarjyoti. So we have seen in the previous shlokas also Atma Rama, Atma Trupta, and all those words. So these are also more or less same, because Krishna is sometimes telling the same theory with different wordings, because Arjuna is not yet convinced. So it is almost end of the 5th chapter, but then also Krishna didn't see any change on the facial expressions of Arjuna. He seemed to be still confused, and Krishna is extending his advice. He is just uh, elaborating it, so that Arjuna gets convinced. Krishna wants that he should not force Arjuna to fight. Arjuna should be fully convinced, and he himself should voluntarily stand up and say that, oh Krishna, I'm ready to fight. So that was the intention of Krishna. So he is taking some more effort in explaining him. And for us also, we know that we are also not fully convinced, like though we are not confused, but then also we are not completely taken all the things inside. So just superficially we are understanding what it is, but we are not able to implement any of the things. So if we read those things, if we analyze those things repeatedly, then we may master some of the things. So it is almost the same, but then also Krishna explains it in different words. So he says that before death, if a person has these three qualities, that is Antasukhi, Antararama, and Antarjyoti, then he gets liberation. Otherwise, he has to come back. Again, he will be trapped in the chakra of Janana and Marana. And Antasukha means one who has happiness within himself, and he will never go outside in search of that sukha or happiness. And his happiness is not dependent on external factors, and it is not dependent on the indriyas also. And he is able to see Bhagavan within himself. For a normal people, like the normal human beings, if a body is dissected, so what a doctors can see there, they can see lungs, heart, or kidney, or any other body parts that they can see. But this yogi can go beyond all those things. And we say that there are pancha koshas, anandamaya kosha, and then annamaya, pranamaya, vijnanamaya, anandamaya, all those koshas are there. They say that layers are there. But this yogi can go beyond all these things and see only one entity in that. That is Bhagavan. So he can see that. So when he can see that, he can think only about Bhagavan, and he experiences that. He tastes that. He enjoys that. And that itself is happiness for him. And there is no other happiness other than this. And he is so independent of the external materialistic things, and there is nobody else who is as happy as him. He is a Sukha Purusha because he can enjoy the existence of Bhagavan. He can enjoy the intimacy of Bhagavan. So that person is called as Antasukhi. And one more is Antara Rama. That is Antaha Arama. So all the Arama, it is within himself. Arama means happiness. So it is within himself for him. So again, he need not have to go outside to search all those things. Uh, so many times, what we do is, what a normal person does is, he feels very mechanical out of his duty. So he thinks that I'll take a day leave, and then he sits at home, and then he takes leave. He thinks that I feel relaxed. But many times what he does is, he does so many activities, and then he feels more stressed than when he goes to office, because it is the indriyas, because it is the rajoguna that will not allow him to sit quietly. The person who has won all the indriyas, only he can sit quietly, because he can communicate with Bhagavan. But we people cannot communicate with Bhagavan, so we start communicating with the external world. So we will not get relaxed to escape from one stress. So we take other stress on us. That is the ordinary people. But for one who is Antara Rama, for him the arama or the relaxation is within himself. And then one more is Antar Jyoti. Jyoti is light, Prakasha. So that Prakasha is within for them. The knowledge is also within. And then in that Prakasha, he can see Bhagavan. That Prakasha is nothing but knowledge. And again, that knowledge is, he'll not get from outside. He gets it from inside. It is there inside. So the knowledge that we get from outside, it is just to help to identify the knowledge that we have inside. For example, we read Bhagavad Gita, we listen to pravachanas, we go to teachers to learn Bhagavad Gita, and all this can help us to identify the Bhagavan within ourselves. But that identifying we only should do. These books or gurus or the internet or whatever, that can only help us. But it is we who should identify the Bhagavan within ourselves. It is, no one can feed us the knowledge like how our mothers used to feed us the food. Mothers, when we were small, they used to put the food into our mouth and just we used to swallow that. But now nobody does that. So many books are there, so many gurus are there, so many people are there to share the knowledge, to give us the knowledge. But it is we who should do sadhana, and then we should practice that, and to see that Bhagavan within ourselves. It is, we should have the level of yogis. Only then it is possible. A person may be, he may be knowing everything theoretically, he may be a good teacher, but there is no guarantee that he has seen Bhagavan within himself. It takes a lot of high level of spirituality for that. So one has to be very true to himself. One has to do Atma Shuddhi. One has to do Chitta Shuddhi. One has to just take away all the Adhyana, like how the mirror on that dust is there. So he has to take away all that, the curtain of Adhyana, he has to remove. Only then he can see the Bhagavan within himself. So all that, the materialistic things, these books or whatever we have, they can only help us. The theory is different, and actually experiencing that is different, and that is different. And that experience only I can do that. No one can do that. Like, we know that if I have fever, I have to take crocin tablet. I know theory. Someone can give me crocin tablet, someone can give me water also, but I only should swallow that. In the same way, many people can help you, explain you how to see Bhagavan, but it is only I should see the Bhagavan within myself. No one can help in that. So that is the real Antarjyoti. So that is the Antarjyoti. And a person who has Antasukha, Antararama, and Antarjyoti, one who has got all these things, he gets Brahma Swarupa, and he gets Mukta, liberation. So all the Shastras and Vedas say that if we keep thinking about Brahma, then we will become one with Brahma. We'll merge with Brahma. We'll also become Brahma. It's like a charcoal piece. If it is put in the middle of all the burning charcoals, after some time, that also starts burning. In the same way, if around us, everywhere, we can see Bhagavan, everywhere, and then if we put ourselves in the midst of Bhagavan, then definitely one day we'll become Brahma. We keep repeatedly, if we keep thinking about Brahma, then one day we will merge with Brahma, says the shloka. That is Brahma Bhutodi Gacchati. So we will go into the Brahma, will merge with the Brahma, the person who is always thinking about Brahma. Mahodaya, agre patatu.
अस्तु महोदय लभन्ते ब्रह्मनिर्वाणम् ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधा यतात्मानः सर्वभूतहिते रताः
धन्यवाद महोदय. लभन्ते ब्रह्म ऋषयः लभन्ते ब्रह्म निर्वाणं ऋषयः क्षीणकल्मषाः छिन्नद्वैधा यतात्मनः सर्वभूतहिते रताः. So rishayah, the rishis, the saints who are kshina kalmashaha, so whose kalmashas, whose papas, whose sins have become kshina, deteriorated, diminished. And then chinnadvaida, one who have become free from dvandvas, dualities. Yatatvanaha, one who have become jitendriyas, conquered the senses. And then sarva bhuta hite rataha, one who is engaged in the welfare of all the living beings. Such a Rishi gets Brahma Nirvana. That is, the Rishis, those who have removed all the imperfections and doubts from their mind, and one who have controlled their senses, that is Yatatmanaha, and Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, that is one who are engaged in the acts of welfare of all the living beings, they attain absolute freedom. That is Brahma Nirvanam, says the shloka. So we'll see what is this Kshina Kalmashaha, Chinna Dvaida, Yatatmanaha. So they say, no, the Rishis who are Kshina Kalmashaha, who are Chinna Dvaida, Yatatmanaha, Sarva Bhuta Hite Rataha, such Rishi will get Brahma Nirvanam. Says, no, so what are these words? We'll just see. Kshina Kalmashaha. So one who doesn't have any kalmasha, any dirt, any sin or any papa. So one who has cleaned all those things, one whose soul is pure, such a person. So for a normal person, it is so difficult to clean our chitta on daily basis also. We say that it should be cleaned on daily basis, but for an ordinary person, it is a task. It's not natural for him. So he has to develop that, he has to train his mind. Only then he can have the clean or the pure chitta. So we have seen in the previous shlokas also what is chitta shuddhi. So there should not, the heart should be like a white plain shubhra paper. It should be shuddha, very pure. There should not be any stain or any scar or any unpleasant thoughts on that. Any unpleasant thoughts, any unwanted things, if they are there, then we cannot say that that is pure atma. So that is called as atma shuddhi. So we have to delete all the unwanted things from the heart. There should not be hatredness, na dveshti, na kankshati. So there should not be hatredness for any person in our heart. So where the heart is filled with love, but there should not be any attachment. Such a heart, such a soul is called as pure heart. So for a normal person, it is so difficult to keep the heart like this. It is so difficult to keep the chitta shuddha always. Every day we have to put effort for that. It's like every day if we take bath, but next day we have to, because again there would have been some germs or some dust particles there. So we have to clean our body, clean our houses on the daily basis. But yogi is not like that. So he has cleaned everything, and he has attained a state where he is not touched by any dust particle or any of the things, that is uh, any critics or any comments. So he is not affected by any of those things. He has become like Padma Patram Ivambasa, we have seen, no? Like a lotus leaf. Even if water sits on that, it will not absorb little bit also, little bit of water also, the leaf will not absorb. Why? Like that, the property of the leaf is like that, and here yogi, he has become like that. Kshina kalmashaha. So nothing will sit on his soul. It is like, suppose our jewelries, we have seen artificial jewelries, on that gold coat is there. So if it is coated, then what happens after some time? That coat goes, it fades away. But original gold, nothing happens to that. So in the same way, yogi, it is his like the original gold. So for original gold, we no need to do any coating. No, in the same way, his natural nature has become like, it is shubhra, it is clean. So there is no stain on that. His atma has become pure. So he is away from all the critics or comments or anything that happens in this world. He has gone so high, his platform is so high. And then a chinnadvaida, that is, he has escaped from the dvandvas. Dvandvas, we know, dualities of life. That is sukha, dukkha, shita, ushna, labha, nashta, jaya, parajaya, ninda, stuti, all those things. So these things will no more threaten him, that yogi. It is because, why it threatens us and why not him? Because he is said that he will not see those things, he can ignore those dvandvas. It is because he can see samya everywhere. What is that samya? Similarity. He can see Bhagwan everywhere. So he thinks that within me also Bhagwan, within him also Bhagwan, within her also Bhagwan, within each and every entity, within each and every non-living thing also Bhagwan. So someone criticizes him, he thinks that he himself is criticizing him. So it is because he can see samya in everything, he feels it so silly to pay attention to that. He just ignores such things. He thinks that such things keep coming and going. Any sorrow, any dukkha, any enjoyment, he thinks that they keep coming and going, they're all temporary things. So he is above all such things. So he never reacts for that. And if we see through nama rupa means like, i'm I'm a lady, or I am Manjari, and someone is my boss, or someone is my teacher, someone is my son. So these are all nama rupas. So if we can see through these nama rupas, I feel pain, or I may feel this dvandva. Sometimes I may be very happy, sometimes I may feel very sad. But this yogi has gone beyond all these namarupas. For him, everything is Bhagavan, everywhere is Bhagavan. So he never feels, never experiences these dvandvas. He has gone beyond those dvandvas. So such a person is called as Chinnadvaidha. And then Yatatmanaha. So he is Jitendriya. He has conquered his Indriyas. And then he is able to control that Manoshakti which is going towards Indriya Sukha. He is able to direct that towards Bhagavan. So the same energy, same Manoshakti which was going behind Indriyas is able to direct that towards Bhagavan. So it's not enough if one can direct that towards Bhagavan. It's not enough if you can control, if you can withdraw your senses from the sensory objects. It's not enough. You should direct that towards Bhagavan. For the mind, it needs some destination. If I have to uh, withdraw my mind from some worldly objects, then I should show some direction to this mind. Mind cannot sit without doing anything. So we have to show some good things to that. So if we withdraw the senses from the materialistic things, then we should direct that towards the God. And Yogi has done that. That's why he is able to stop it one side and direct that towards the other side. Suppose water is flowing in one direction which we don't want, then first what we should do, stop that, and then we should give another direction to that water. Wherever we want that, we should give that direction, only then we can use that water. In the same way here, if we want to control the sense organs, then we should close the door that side and we should open the door towards the door which is towards the Bhagavan, that is inside within us. That door we should open, and Yogi does that. And such a type of Yogi, he is always engaged in Sarva Bhuta Hita. So this Yogi, even if he is in a cave also, he prays for all. He, the whatever shanti, whatever happiness he is experiencing, he feels that he shares that with all the other people. He thinks that all other people should live happily, all other people should have that inner peace, all other people should live happily. That is his wish. And a person who goes by doing sadhana, one who is nearing God, so as and when he nears God, his heart becomes huge, becomes vishala. So he thinks that everything is God, every entity is made of God. So such a person, he loves everyone, he embraces everyone, and he thinks that everywhere God is there. So in each and every individual God is there, and each and every non-living thing God is there. And such a person goes near God. As he nears God, he gets such feeling, and when he gets such feeling, he merges with God. Sarva bhute rate hitaha. So such people brahma nirvanam gachati. Labhante, here in this case labhante. So they get brahma nirvana, says the shloka. So 5 shlokas we have finished today. So we'll continue in the next week. Dhanyavadaha.
अस्तु भगिनि, धन्यवादः भगिनि.
धन्यवाद.
ॐ सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामया, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. धन्यवादः.